Now, this weekend, I hated to see this on the TV over the weekend. It was on BBC something or other. And there they were, all these Scousers celebrating the fact that their city is the European City of Culture, whatever it is. And as you know, Kate, that a few years ago, that Bristol...
Should have been us.
Well, they went for it, didn't they? They didn't get. I'm not sure I could agree that it should have been Bristol due to the fact that they're just shutting down the best theatre. I don't know about Liverpool, but a man who claims that Liverpool is definitely... the right city is on the phone now. It's Mr. Michael Rusco. Morning to you, Michael.
Hey there, me hearties. That's just a greasing from one seaport to another. A bit of Scouse humour for you to start the day.
That's great. Me hearties. Is that what you say?
Well, that's what all pirates say, isn't it?
What is your title and why you... just explain who you are and why you're behind this Liverpool rubbish culture thing.
Well, I don't think it's rubbish, and if it's that rubbish, why did you lot go for it? I'm one of the 12 selected artists. One of the 12 selected artists in residence.
So you're an artist?
I'm a street poet.
That's true, right, okay. Can you give me some example of your work?
Well, my work wasn't used in the end. If you watch Ringo Starr's song, he's saying, Liverpool, I left you, but I never let you down. And I had a very similar thing, but based on the frog chorus, it was some singing mice, and they said, Liverpool, I love you, and I never stole your cheese. I spent it on education and extortionate tuition fees. It was a bit of a dig at the government, and it got knocked out, you see. So, in the end, it's a bit of a bitter subject.
So, well, what? I mean, that sounds absolutely brilliant, the thing about mice, and, using mice to have a go at the government is an extraordinary thing. So, are you bitter about Ringo's success?
Not at all. I mean, there was basically no pop music or any kind of alternative music apart from jazz before the Beatles and before the release of the Please Please Me single. Only 16 people in England owned a guitar. So they're really putting pop music on the map, and I think that you can trace anything from your Arctic Monkeys to Def Leppard or, Louis Armstrong. It all goes back to, Ringo and the Beatles, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And Louis Armstrong was actually born in Liverpool.
Yeah, was he?
Yeah, it's a little known fact. It's one of the things that's airbrushed by the London media. But his nickname was Satchmo.
Yeah.
It's an abbreviation of Saturday Matchgoer, because Louis would famously watch Everton one week and Liverpool the next. He didn't mind as long as he went to the match on a Saturday, and that's where his nickname Satchmo comes from.
Is that right? Oh.
It's very true. One of the many things that's airbrushed by the biased London-centric media.
You mentioned Ringo. You keep mentioning Ringo. What about, McCartney? Surely he's the better Beatle.
Mark is great. No one can knock Macca, but unfortunately he's not coming back here till April, and it's another bone of contention.
Yeah, why?
Well, it's one more bone than his wife had, I suppose. you asked me to come on and say why.
Yeah.
It was Liverpool should get it, and I think one of the reasons is the warmth. And I wrote a little bit about the warmth and the humour of the Scouse people. Mm-hmm. I wrote a little verse that I was going to stand up and say, and again, they didn't want me on there because they don't like people of my appearance. And my little poem was, no matter how bitter the breeze off the sea, you'll never be cold in Scouse company. I wrote that because when I was younger, I was involved in some quite violent crimes. I had occasion to stab people, but we would always leave a blanket so they didn't go cold. And I think that shows you something of the warmth of the Scouse people. Liverpool's the gateway to the British Empire, and now, thanks to this capital of culture, the Empire, it's just a matter of time before the Empire comes home. So I can imagine in a very short space of time, the London Stock Exchange would still be called the LSE, but why not call it the Liverpool Stock Exchange? And the Bank of England's coming up here, definitely, I've heard that. You laugh, but, people laughed at the Beatles, people laughed at Brian Epstein.
Yeah, they did. They laughed at Stan Boardman.
Yeah, I laughed at him, definitely, with his chippy jokes. They were great.
Yeah, they were.
It's like Ringo sang, I don't know if you saw it on the television last night, Get By With a Little Help From My Friends, which is another song that wasn't made in places like Bristol. But it starts off, with would you believe in a love at first sight? Yes, I'm certain it happens all the time. And that's exactly what happened between myself and the actress Sue Johnston.
Sorry?
The actress Sue Johnston on Brookside and the royal family.
Well, do you go out with her then?
No, I mean, I'm probably her biggest fan. I think I'm officially, in legal terms, her biggest fan. The judge preferred the word stalker, but it was a definitely love at first sight.
I see. Did she ever speak to you?
It's done and dusted now, and it's one of the reasons I wasn't allowed on the
stage. Michael, thanks very much. We wish you all the best. We wish Liverpool all the best, of course.
I'm sure you do. I know that everyone outside Liverpool hates Liverpool, and it's what's made this all the sweeter. The sweeter.
What do you think people of Manchester think about people in Liverpool winning this?
Doesn't matter, because they're off the map now, aren't they? Somebody said to me, Bristol and Liverpool have that in common, with the slave trade. And I said, that's nonsense, Bristol might have been built on that. Liverpool wasn't. A complete lie put about by Man United fans and backed up by the London-centric British media. So I don't care what they think of us. They can have their big tower and their big football grounds and Tony Wilson. Doesn't matter. Don't forget, what do you think's the best piece of architecture in the world?
Taj Mahal.
You think do you know what the Taj Mahal is based on?
No.
Liverpool Community College in Myrtle Street.
Is everything based on something in Liverpool, yeah?
Not everything isn't, no. Earthquakes and that, they're not based on anything to do with Liverpool. We never had one. Not in my knowledge. Not according to my Auntie Pat. And there's not very much my Auntie Pat doesn't know. She was within a whisker winning the Mastermind in 2001. She was that close to completing the application form. She definitely would have won it. I'll put my Auntie Pat on next time.
Yeah, do, yeah. Can we
funny? Well, fine, okay.
Yeah.
But if you think that's funny.
Yeah, do, yeah. Let's have Auntie Pat on.
She'll be on, I'll tell you.
All right, brilliant.
Next time you ring up again, mate.
I will.
No problem.
Yeah. Well, thanks very much for joining us.
Right, all the best, and I hope next time your bid goes a little bit better and you can build a theatre and stop knocking them down.
Yeah, very good idea, wasn't it? Thanks very much indeed.